Hello. So this is part 6, I believe, of Chrono Trigger. We're probably reasonably close to the midpoint of the game, I would say. And yeah, we'll pick up where we left off. We just finished, of course, the rather epic and rather metal showdown with Magus. Which, of course, turned out not to be the end of the game, even though it came off very much as a final battle. It is not that at all. So, long story short, when we defeated Magus, we still had to deal with Lavos, who was not created by him, but was summoned by him to medieval times. Lavos, without, I suppose, having Magus's full control exerted over him, opened a massive time gate which swallowed Magus's castle and kicked our party all the way back to 65 million years ago, so we're back in the prehistoric era. So that's where we left off. Yeah, we don't really have any other story beats to catch up on, so yeah, we'll pick up with finding Ayla in the ruins of the Laruba village, which was not an available location the last time we were in this time period. And it looks like Ayla's wimpy friend Kino has been kidnapped by Azala and the Reptites. Hello, Tabby. If you hear any loud sniffing noises, Tabby was just smelling the microphone. Doesn't quite show up on the camera, but she is here. Here's can't quite reach with her tail either. So, yeah, Ayla runs off on her own to get these dactyls she needs to get to the Reptite's lair. So, I guess she didn't notice us standing there. We have to follow her. Fortunately, this location is just north of town, so here we go. These are slightly more powerful versions of enemies we fought the last time we were in this time period. Yeah, just do physical attacks, even though that's not this particular party lineup's forte. We did pick up the new weapons that are available in this time period for all of our characters except Frog. That was the last thing we did at the end of part 5. And these guys are... might as well use lightning too. I was gonna say these guys are weak to lightning, but there's not a whole lot of point in using it, but that is one of the stronger attacks we do have at the moment, so... this chest down here is a piece of armor. I actually never thought about it, at least on this playthrough. I don't know if I have before or not, but assuming you don't just get wiped out by the enemies here, which I wouldn't think you would, it'd probably actually be worth coming to this little mountain area the first time you're in prehistoric times, because the armor you get here is the strongest available up to this point that we're at now, so way more powerful than, like, the ruby vests we had the last time we were in prehistoric times. That's not it. There is a strong piece of armor we get fairly soon in one of these chests. So we should be able to get at least the top ape and the rock guy with one napalm bomb from Luca here. And I think that just served to make them mad. It did damage, of course. But that chest might be the armor I'm speaking of. Grab that and then trigger the battle. So it is actually lower than the mist robes that the two ladies have. And we probably want to leave the Dark Mail on Robo for now, because it does boost his magic defense. So we have Chrono and Frog. I think I'm just going to put it on Chrono because he's the constant member of our party. So even though his defense was already slightly higher than Frog's, we'll have that Miso Mail. Might want to do a healing round fairly soon, and of course the problem with doing a healing turn with this particular party lineup is Marley does not have a group heal. She never gets one. The only group heal she's able to do is double tech with either Chrono or Robo. So if you want to do a group heal with this lineup, you have to use both Chrono and Marley. You have to use two characters' turns rather than just one, like with Robo or Frog. Good hit from Luca there. And a nice critical from Chrono. These guys we could... I was gonna say mostly wipe out with a lightning too, but for less MP, we can probably get a similar effect out of Luca's napalm. And then we get a stronger physical from Chrono to follow it up. This is a fairly short dungeon. I think this is the end of it here. But the bigger dungeon, the Tyranno lair, is where we're headed from here. And this is where Ayla's gonna rejoin us, and she's then with us for the duration. After that, she doesn't leave the party again. Which will give us all of our characters, except... we'll see. All of the characters that appear in the manual, at least, we have now. And Ayla will be mandatory for this next dungeon. So I think we'll stick with Marley for now to see if we can get her haste spell, because I do like using the haste spell on her for the final boss of this upcoming dungeon. So we'll get that spell on her, and then we can swap probably Luca back in afterwards and try to get her next ability too. So let's see how she's doing on that. Yeah, she should be able to get it fairly soon. I feel like Ayla's actually a little behind. I feel like probably should have gotten that cat attack the last time we had her in the party, but at any rate, and instead of using a shelter before we go in there, let's just go here and get the free healing. And check Ayla's equipment. I don't think we never did get a second power scarf, so yeah, that's probably good. Theoretically, the Berserker could be good on Ayla, but I don't like not having her under control. I tend not to go for Berserker effects. There are places in like Final Fantasy IV where in the later game it can be very useful, and the recent multi-part playthrough of Final Fantasy IV that You Can Beat Video Games did on his channel, which again, check him out. Letter U Can Beat Video Games, great channel. But he showed how to effectively use Berserk in Final Fantasy IV. In Final Fantasy VI, I do sometimes have Gao in my party. I'm not like a die-hard Gao user, but I do use him on occasion. I definitely use Gao in the Magitech Factory, and when you use a rage of his, he becomes a Berserker character. As does Mog when you use his dance, and Umaro if you use him at any point. But yeah, unless I really have to, I tend not to use Berserk effects in any of these games. I don't think when I played Final Fantasy V all the way through recently, I don't think I used the Berserker class at all. Yeah, I just like having full control of my party. Alright, so let's see what we can do with these guys. Despite Ayla possibly being a little behind on her skills, I do feel like we're maybe ahead on overall levels, because these cave apes are going down in only 2 hits, basically. 2 to 3 hits, anyway. This Reptite's kind of a damage sponge, though, isn't he? They're definitely stronger than the green Reptites we fought the first time we were in this time period. That doesn't open yet. So, fight these guys. Use our good old Cyclone to get a hit on both of them. A nice critical from Ayla. That one's down. And another critical from Ayla. cat attack and the Volt Bite double tech, which is a good skill for Ayla and Chrono to be able to use. So we let those guys out. Those are the villagers from the Laruba village that was burned by the Reptites. And we'll just do that same strategy here, since these guys have the same sort of formation. Kino out of this cave, and then we go back up after we hit the switch in the cell here, and that'll get those guys to come together, and we'll just do that same strategy one more time. But yeah, we'll hit a switch to open the other dinosaur skull, and that'll take us to the rest of the lair here. Might even be worth just doing a second cyclone. So yeah, we should be doing pretty good on... Yeah, still over 100, but... This music always kind of reminded me a little bit, especially that part we just heard, the it always kind of reminded me a little bit of the Legion of Doom or the Road Warriors WWF theme. Not when they were LOD 2000, their original WWF theme. I think this is one of the handful of tracks that Nobuo Uematsu did for this game too. Again, most of them were Yasunori Mitsuda, but he essentially literally ended up in the hospital from overwork. I think he had intestinal ulcers or something like that he ended up being hospitalized because he just put so much energy into working on this soundtrack. So Uematsu came in when he was essentially out of commission and kind of finished the soundtrack for him. So I think it's on Spotify. Let me double check. I believe Spotify tells the composers track by track for this soundtrack. I think this is one of the Uematsu tracks. The underground sewer one was Uematsu also. The other prehistoric dungeon theme, this one, is Uematsu also. Where is the Tyranno lair one? There's actually 2 unused music tracks in this game, also. One was apparently a battle theme, it's just called Battle 2, and the other was kind of an almost religious sounding track that I don't know if it's really known exactly where that would have been used in the game, but they were dummied out, so you can hear them on the soundtrack, and the music players in newer versions of the game, you can play them in those, but yeah, unfortunately you can't hear them in the game itself. Maybe you can with a Game Genie or something like that. Anyway, yeah, Tyran Castle is the name of this track, and this one is one of the Uematsu ones. Anyway, fight these guys. I know you can push the switch to have them drop down and not have to fight them, but we want the experience. So, now they should be close enough for the Cyclone. If we had Luca, this would also be a good situation to use the Napalm Bomb. So if we can get Marley to get the haste spell buff before we finish this dungeon, we'll swap Luca in up until we get to the boss. And I always forget which side to go down first. I feel like the right side is the way forward, so... Just hit these guys with the lightning, too. There are a lot of fights in this dungeon. Only one of these guys though, huh? Not complaining, it's easy enough. Oh, this room sucks. Maybe it is the right hand side of that other room we're supposed to go to, because I feel like that one's the way forward. And this is a dungeon you cannot come back to. Same with Magus's Castle. Well, I guess a lot of the dungeons you can't go back to. But some you can, like the Cathedral. But, yeah, we don't want to miss anything here, so... We'll just backtrack and see what's on the right-hand side first, because again, I'm pretty sure this one is... That teleporter room, I think, is the way forward. And I'm gonna call up a map of that, because that room sucks. Alright, so I'll have that ready to go when we do go back there. This room doesn't respawn, so that's nice. And a little trick here, I believe, if this is the enemy I'm thinking of, the volcano, if you hit one of these, it'll actually erupt and target all of the enemies on screen, so you get like free damage. That just took it out. 17 tech points. You get a lot of tech points for a lot of the fights here, which is not a bad thing at all. We'll see how Ayla's doing on her techs also. So we'll get these guys. Cyclone. check that. We're already down to only needing 50 for Marley's haste spell, so... Yeah, one of those. I knew one of those was a trap. Fortunately, I picked the one that's not a trap first. And I think coming down here, I think that will actually respawn that other room at that point. Or not. That's nice. These guys do respawn though, obviously. And this is that one single avian Rex that this doesn't even really seem worth the effort. But we'll do it. Alright, so this room has these teleporter panels that are hidden. So, I think we want to go, well, first to a battle. Alright, so, do that. Yeah, if he hits that volcano, then the eruption hits us. Us hitting the volcano makes it hit the other enemies. Oh, the volcano actually absorbs lightning. We just got it to take itself out anyway. Okay, so I think we go here first to get this chest, or egg, or whatever, and again, just a tonic when that's not really even worth the effort. Here we can get this one. That's actually a pretty good helmet, which I think I'm gonna put on Marley because she had the lowest defense. And then we go. That takes us back there. 2G. Yeah, I'm going by the map here, so get to G. We need to get to C to do that. To C is over here, I think. Yeah, so we can get this bottom chest that way. Let's revive. And then if we go over here, this chest, and that's another miso mail, and I think that's all the chests, so we just need to get to the exit now. And that will be 2E. Or I think we can just walk through here and not have to teleport at all. Alright, so yeah, we got everything, so we'll put that other miso mail, I think, on Frog, because he had the lowest, lowest defense, other than Luca, who, her, Mr. Robe is already stronger than the miso mail, so, yeah, we'll give this to him. That actually puts Frog 1 point over Robo for defense. Didn't even trigger the attack from the volcano that time, just took it out in one hit. This is kind of a mini gauntlet on this balcony here. Those avian Rexes don't get stunned like the big guy. Must be getting fairly close to Marley learning that haste spell. Let's just check. She needs 2 more points. Okay, so how did the switches here go? Open the gate outside. And that triggers the enemies to show up. Alright, so we know that the volcano absorbs lightning, so there's no point in doing a lightning 2 attack. So we'll stun him, then hit the volcano, trigger the explosion. Could stand to get healed soon. There's haste for Marley. She should be, her next one should be ice too. Yeah. So let's have Marley. You can actually use Aura out and Cure outside of battle. So just put an Aura on Chrono for now. Actually starting to run a little low on MP too. And I think we'll swap Marley out for Luca for a little bit. So she has her Protect spell next, which I don't recall ever really getting a whole lot of use out of. Chrono's almost out of MP. Let's throw a mid-ether on him. I think we have a save point relatively soon, I hope. She just took that out in one hit. You almost don't want the critical hits on those volcanoes, so they can do damage to everything else. Falcon hit. That's a very good attack for Chrono and Ayla. So next for Ayla is Charm. She needs a bit of work to get it, but that is a very useful thing for her to have. Alright, so we are going to have to fight Nisbel here. Let's actually throw a power tab on each of them. We'll give Luke a magic tab while we're here. We'll use a shelter. So we'll try out that Volt Bite. Double attack. I probably should have put Robo in for the heal beam on this battle, because like the first Nisbel, this one has the sort of electrocution wave that targets all party members. So having a group heal would not have been a bad thing. This one actually has its defense power go back up when you do a non-electric attack on him. That was a big hit. So that one actually wasn't as much damage as I thought it was going to be. We'll just have everybody use a mid-tonic. That'll fix it. Yeah, because the lowering his defense stacks until he resets it by releasing the electrocution wave. He ends up taking some pretty hefty damage towards the end of that fight if you, again, just keep doing the Volt Bite. So I feel like that's actually a little bit easier than the first Nisbel fight, even though he's theoretically stronger in this one. Okay, so this is the room where I always kind of forget which switch does which thing. that one actually opens the gate that we want to go to. The save point, and I think the other one like opens up the floor as a trap, so I don't think we'll hit the other one. But we might as well heal up while we have the chance. And I think we're just about at the end of this dungeon. This seems like it went faster than I remember it. Again, it's been probably at least 2 years since the last time I played this. I always feel like this dungeon is longer than it is. So what I think we'll do, since these guys are stunned anyway, I'll wait for Chrono to recharge, and then we'll try that Falcon hit out on these guys since they're in a line. This is a very useful double attack I've always found, because there are a lot of battles where enemies are lined up like that. Yeah, we have to follow her outside, and again, I always assumed Azala was female. That may not be the case. It might just be an assumption, but... Ceratopper and a mid-eater, so we should get that helmet. It's 118. We'll give it to Luca. And we'll actually switch Marley back in. I do just want to check and see how these techniques are going. But I do like using Marley for this particular boss fight because of the haste spell. Let's actually put it on herself first, and then we can get the other hastes set up a little more quickly. Ayla still has the ruby vest equipped, which is strong against fire, so that's helpful. So yeah, the Falcon hit actually is not really worth using at this point because the Black Tyranno's defense is up. Azala has very high defense, so it usually takes a little while to get rid of her. Once Azal is defeated, I believe that's the point where the Black Tyranno starts its kind of main battle pattern. Oh, that ice did a lot of damage, didn't it? Maybe we should be using Ice Sword on Azala instead of the Volt Bite that I've been using so far. Yeah, I think we'll actually swap Ayla into the healer role temporarily. And use Ice Sword on Azala. Oh yeah, that's like double damage from the Volt Bite. The haste will probably start wearing off in the next couple of turns, so I need to reset those. Also, a little early, but let's throw an Eater on Marley. We'll throw one on Chrono too if we have the opportunity. So, yeah, Azala's parting shot was putting a sap effect on our party. So now we just kind of need to wait to get the Tyranno to let its defense down and start charging up its super attack. So we'll take the opportunity to heal up. There it is. So I think actually Ice Sword is still effective. It's too big to lift, so the cat attack is not going to work. Or the rock throw, rather, is not going to work. That's why we use the cat attack. So we'll try to get as many of these in as possible before it hits its super attack, and we'll need to heal again. I especially find the haste is useful during this phase of the battle, because it allows you to get even more attacks in during its countdown. I think Marley's haste wore off too. Actually, I think everybody's did. So we'll try to get one more round in, and then as we wait for it to drop its defense again after its super attack, we'll have the opportunity to get the haste put back up. Alright, so Either on herself. Ayla will do the aura whirl to heal. want to do a second one of those, possibly. Actually, let's start setting up the haste again. Yeah, having that sap effect still on us from defeating Azala is not helping matters. Here we go. We should be able to take it down before it uses that super again. There it is. So we took down the giant dinosaur. Help me cut the choice meats. And if you get that reference, you're really cool. Get those Mode 7 graphics in. Actually, I guess maybe, yeah, there. That was a Mode 7 effect anyway. And I guess the stars scrolling in the first shot. Yeah, it turns out Ayla actually coined the name Lavos. That's heavy. And I think, is that the first time we've heard that lovely sound effect, the Lavos scream? actually switch up the party. We'll keep Ayla because we want to get the charm on her as soon as we can. We could go back to Luca. Yeah, let's use Luca for now, and then we'll put Frog in after she gets her protect spell. This should look familiar from the cover art of the game. The building there. Although the cover art is a little off, because, well, for one thing, it shows the Hecarim monster, which does not appear in this time period at all. And it also shows Marley apparently casting fire, which you could excuse that because it's Chrono, Marley, and Frog, and they're doing the Arc Impulse triple tech, which has like a flashing effect that does show yellow at one point, so that could be a justification. But, yeah, it always looks like Marley's casting the wrong element in the cover art. It's just as likely that it was drawn before they formalized or finalized what element each character would use. Anyway, this is the Kingdom of Zeal, such a cool part of the game. There's even some familiar faces here. So in this and in the other city, there's actually a hidden room you can open by opening those books in the right order. There is somewhere an NPC that actually gives you the hint as to what that order is. But it's wind, water, and fire, so... So we can just do that right away. Fate but what we make for ourselves. That's what I learned from Terminator. So that's a hint. There is a hidden room. It's probably in the other city that you get the hint as to the order. Ooh. 'Tis a sullen lad, Frog says if he's in the party at this point. Don't eat the cat, Ayla. The Black Wind, that sounds familiar. So. Oh, is it water, wind, fire? Maybe it's water, wind, fire. After how many times doing this, did I get the wrong order? Because the door that opens is right behind that table. It's one of these bookshelves moves. So, yeah, water, wind. Ah, there it is. There it is. Yeah, so I had the wrong order. Sorry. Alright, so it's worth having somebody with a group heal for this fight, I think. So we'll swap Frog in, I think. Yeah, that'll work. Because this is actually not a fight with a new, it's a fight with 6 news at once. Fortunately, the way they're arranged, the Falcon hit is very helpful in this fight. And we'll get buku tech points from these guys too. again, the News have 2 attacks. One does 1 damage, and the other does all but 1 damage. So they can be tricky on their own, and this is the only time there's 6 of them at a time, but yeah, you definitely need a strategy. And the Falcon hit, and then the 3rd character, Frog in this case, being able to do a group heal is probably the most effective strategy, because they go down with only 2 Falcon hits. Unfortunately, they're not targeting the same character on each turn. And there's what happens, so we have to revive Chrono. We can still get the Falcon hit on this turn. We'll just do the single heal this time. So this will go a long ways to getting Ayla that charm spell, too. Yeah, 90 tech points. Two tabs. That's it. I know the other secret room has a prize, a better prize. Let's see what that did for our techniques, though. So Chrono is almost, I mean, he's not almost at it, but his next one is his second to last technique, which is Confuse, which is mistranslated. It's supposed to be Frenzy, and in most other versions of the game it is Frenzy, but for whatever reason it got translated as Confuse in the original SNES version. So we got the Leap Slash on Frog. We got we're down to a little more than 200 points for Ayla to get her Leapfrog there to use the Recovery Spring. But yeah, we shouldn't need to grind too much to get Ayla that charm spell. Alright, so we can go to the other Zeal City. Can also check out the Blackbird while we're here. So in addition to the dates, the BC and AD dates in this game, denoting that apparently fantasy Jesus existed in this world, they also use the term okay a number of times, which also suggests the existence of fantasy Martin Van Buren, since at least one of the common origin stories for the term okay is that it referred to old Kinderhook, which was abbreviated to OK on campaign buttons. There are other explanations, of course, for the origin of OK, but that's one of them. Another one is that it just is short for all correct, which was 19th century slang. But Martin Van Buren's the local boy, so I'll go with that for now, anyway. And I'm even a former Van Buren boy myself. find the water book first. So the Sun Keep we can't actually get to in this time period, but we will eventually be able to get to it. We should buy some shelters. A little low on stock on those. Get a couple. Couple of these too. This is a translation error too. He does have, I think, load helmets, but not. There's no shields in the game as usable equipment. So. Here's where the cracks in the idyllic life in Zeal start to show. The reference to the Earthbound ones and this snob here. Book and the fire book here. So the black rock we can't use yet. That's an accessory that you use at a time when you don't have Chrono in the party. The black rock can allow 3 other characters, Marley, Luca, and somebody else. I'm not spoiling it yet. But somebody else to use a triple tech. Which normally Chrono has to be in every triple tech, but there are a few different colored rocks you can get that give other combinations of parties that don't include Chrono access to some triple techs. So yeah, this one can be used by Marley, Luca, and I don't know. I do know, but I don't want to spoil it yet. You may be able to guess. You may be able to guess who the mysterious last party member is. Anyway, finish exploring here. I think this room might have the hint for the order of the books, but we don't need that since we've already gotten them. Yeah, that new. He has the hint for the books. But we already know it. So it's just one other room here. Love, love, love the music for this, too. The Zeal music. So we can check out the palace, and I think that's all we get to do in this time period for now. And the map screen is fantastic. So believe it or not, we could do it now, but we have to come back through this time period anyway, so knowing where to scratch the news back, that actually will get us, I think, a magic tab later. That new by the bookcase in the previous city in Kajar. You can scratch his back and he coughs up, I think literally coughs up a magic tab, but we can get that the second time through. This is actually, believe it or not, this is important. How you answer it, you want to tell her to secretly plant it. Because that will actually unlock something for a side quest towards the end of the game. Oh, we have the game's title. I don't even know if I knew you could go on that little strip there. This is a very uncommonly heard piece of music in the game. It only plays a few times. And I absolutely love it, the theme for Shala and Janice. And if you listen to it, it incorporates elements, obviously, of the Zeal music, the overall Kingdom of Zeal music. There's hints of somebody else's music, too. And who have we heard talking about the Black Wind before? Alphador. That is actually a name I would consider naming a cat. I don't intend to get any other cats anytime soon. I hope I don't. But, I'm good with the two for now. I don't think I really have room or resources for more than that. And I didn't name either of them. Adrian and Tabby came with their names already set. But if I had the opportunity to name a male cat, Alphador's a name I might consider, actually. So, we'll check out the Mammon Machine on the other side first, and then we'll go to the actual main chamber. Melchior. Couldn't be the same one, right? Alright. guys talked. This way. Oh, yeah. I guess you actually can't pass them there either. Alright, so we'll go up and around. So Marley's pendant that we've been carrying around since the very beginning of the game comes into play. It wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing to have Marley in the party for this part to get her dialogue, but alright, so we've powered up the pendant, which means we can open that door, and we can actually now open the sealed boxes and the sealed doors in the future also. So this is one of those gimmick battles that you can't actually win. It's a story element disguised as a battle, basically. So there's no point in doing any healing or anything like that. So after this is probably a good place to stop for this part. So, yeah, well, we might as well, you know, go back to the future and save there for this part. But, yeah, I think this is generally a good place to end. Yeah, they don't heal, they don't heal you after that golem battle, and I don't think we can use the water here, so we should go to Ayla's hut to rest up. The Ice Age is starting to set in. I'm not sure if he's there yet. We can check while we're here, but eventually a new shows up at the Laruba Village ruins, and he lets you change your name. It's the equivalent of naming life from Final Fantasy IV, I guess. He's probably not here yet. I think he might appear like towards the end when you're able to do a different side quest. Or it might just be... well, I don't want to spoil anything. It might be after a certain event. But I kind of feel like when that new is available, stopping back there to give Marley and Frog their rightful names, Nadia and Glenn. Come on, Luca. We do have that speed tab. We could use that on Luca or Robo. We'll wait till the next part to worry about that. So yeah, hopefully we won't need to grind too much, but before we go back to that last time period, 1200 BC, the Kingdom of Zeal time period. Before we go back to that, we will want to make sure that Ayla has her charm spell. So we do want to keep an eye on that, and we may need to grind a little bit if she doesn't have it yet. Just briefly switch to a magic party and see if we can beat Specchio this time. Oops, bad hit. Hey, speaking of whom, there's Miss Adrian now. Restock on our tonics after this, too. Or at some point soon, anyway. Got him. I think he put us back to full, yeah. Alright, so we'll swap Ayla back in. Ooh, there we go. Okay, so for now we'll go to the Bangor Dome in whatever time period that is. 2300 AD, the future. And we might as well open this door while we're here. So the Charm Top is good for Ayla to have for her charm spell. So even though she doesn't have the spell yet, we'll put it on now just so we don't forget it. And we might as well, just so we don't forget again, we'll go down to this dome and open up the door here too. And then we'll save and call it for today. Actually, we should have gone to the other future time gate, but this made it easy to get those two items anyway. Let's actually put that gold stud, which cuts MP use by 75%. Let's put that on Marley for now. That'll actually, I think, extend the useful life of her heal spells a little bit. So, this way we don't have to go through the dungeon, although maybe we want to get the tech points for Ayla. I don't think there's many tech points to get there anyway. Let's go as far as the sewer access. We might as well. We'll go as far as the door to the dome we're going to. Where Balthazar is. Ah, damn. We'll give it one more try and then we can just walk if not. I was trying to, swing back and then get around them at the last second. Just didn't quite make it that time. Got it. That's what I was trying to do the first time. There was actually a door in this dome too, wasn't there? Yeah, we have to go, like, to the back here. Try to avoid some of these annoying battles. Again, theoretically we want the tech points for Ayla, but these early enemies aren't going to give us much in the way of tech points anyway. So it's probably best to just try to avoid them. And we actually managed to do that. The Lumen Robe is good for female characters. And for now, I think Luke is going to get that. Although the next time we go to the present day, we'll have another good item for her to pick up. So that may end up on Marley, or maybe even Ayla. Yeah, after some creeping through with the overhead view, we managed to avoid all those enemies. That was pretty good. There's some good sneaking around music down there, too. Alright, so we should... I guess we didn't open that bridge. Huh. this way. Is this the shortcut or is it the other way? I forgot already. Oh well. I guess you can't open that bridge. Just end this quickly. This is overkill, the lightning too on these things, but... Alright, so we got to the Keeper's Dome, where Balthazar is, so we'll, I think we'll pick up with talking to him next time. So yeah, that's a good place to stop off, I think. Certainly almost an hour 40, so yeah, that's plenty, I think, for one session. We don't want to get the 2.5 hour runtime again, right? So yeah, we'll pick up sometime this week. I'm off this week, so I should have time to do at least one more part this week, maybe more than that. So yeah, very soon we'll have part 7 to record also. But for now, thanks for joining me, and we'll pick up the story and see how we can get back to the Kingdom of Zeal with the gate closed and sealed next time. So hit like and subscribe, ring that notification bell. I always feel like such a tool saying that, but do it if you haven't. Yeah, we'll see you next time. Have a good one.